What's up, Metaverse? I hope you're having a great day. Wanted to hop on here and talk a little bit about the power of stepping out of our comfort zone. So this is on the heels of my trip back from Malaysia. And whenever I return back from an international place, especially a place that has a lot of history and culture, I'm always kind of looking at the world or my world with kind of like a squinty side eye, like what's really going on. And I think that it's important to step outside of our comfort zone because, you know, when we're in our everyday lives, we sometimes can't see past our own story or our own narrative. If you're like me, every interaction, every circumstance, it all has to do with you. And I don't know if that's fully true. We rarely talk about geographic location, right? So this person is a black male from Los Angeles, California, born to this family with this background, this, right? And so we hold on to all those narratives and all those labels that are attached to us. But then when we step outside of our comfort zone, so you take that person, you drop them somewhere else, it's kind of like, well, what is true now? Do all those narratives follow you into a different context of life? Sometimes we're at risk of becoming a prisoner to our own perspective. And I think when we step out of it, there's things to learn about, of course, the world, but even more valuable, things to learn about ourselves. That limitations and all these things, it's kind of like the reality is a little bit constructed, right? Not 100%, but it's constructed. These limitations that we sense are there. Any kind of narrative that you think is kind of restrictive, there's something out there reminding us the world is big, and sometimes we're just a product of our environment. And I know travel, domestic travel, international travel, I know those things, of course, take time and resources, but even books, right? So for people who read, or even if you write, books have the same ability as travel to kind of transport us into a different context or a different set of circumstances, into a different background or a character's upbringing, to see how they handle and how would we handle, and oh, maybe this is possible for me too. And so that's just something I've been thinking about when I come back. And a lot of what I want to do, ultimately, as an older man, is really facilitate opportunities for Black youth to widen their perspective and to get a sense of the world outside of what people are telling them, especially in this country. I'm the diversity in the room, right? For all these reasons, I'm the diverse person, but it's also incumbent on me to bring diversity into my life. I don't want a whole bunch of people around me that are thinking or acting or appear or believe or, operate in the same way. I want to have a rich pool to pull from so that I become bigger and wiser and more intelligent and more knowledgeable. And I think at the core, that's what I'm trying to say, is that if you travel in a certain way, that those types of experiences are available. And I think kids, especially small kids, if they grow up thinking oh, I'm familiar with this, okay, I can locate it, instead of oh, that's weird. You remember being out on play year, oh, that's just weird. That's weird. She's weird. He's weird. He's weird. It's no, it's not weird. All of what you see and hear has a place, a time, and a purpose. But when you step outside of that, step outside your perspective, it's almost like the chains of your mental, I don't want to say they break free, but it's almost kind of wow, if this is happening over here, what does this mean about my reality or my situation?